Good morning, everyone, and welcome to CVHP News. I'm Sonora Scott. It's Thursday, February 27th. We begin today with a look at what's going on with a precious resource in our community. Here's Victor Glenn with his Our Water segment.
Not long ago, the city of Paint Rock lost a portion of their water rights to the Concho River. To help supplement, the Upper Colorado River Authority stepped in with an offering of water from O.C. Fisher, but additional complications arose.
They no longer use that water at this point. Their treatment system is no longer operational, and they're getting their water from Miller View Dual. But in the future, they plan on getting a package unit or refurbing the old system where they can treat water again out of the river. So what we're doing now is extending that contract and getting it to the point where it'll continue also to provide them water indefinitely.
Paint Rock is currently working to repair their municipal water system using Texas Water Development Board grants. Once that is done, they will need to secure additional funding to either rehab or replace their defunct water treatment plant. For now, their entire supply comes from Miller's View Dual.
Well, when they lost that water right, we have water rights at O.C. Fisher Lake, and we essentially are selling them water and providing it down the lake, down the river. And to do that, we had to get a permit from TCEQ, who handles all the water right permitting in the state. It will be at a better rate than what Miller's View Dual is supplying them water at right now.
The town of less than 300 people is still a valued part of the greater Concho Valley community, being home to several businesses and the site of the Native American pictographs painted on cliffs overlooking the nearby Concho River. For Our Water, I'm Victor Glenn. For more Our Water stories, visit ConchoValleyHomepage.com/water.
Thanks, Victor. Now let's check in with Jay Martin, who's got a look at the weather. Good morning, Jay.
Well, good morning, and a chilly morning for a lot of us. We saw temperatures that were below freezing a lot in those 20s. It felt even colder because we had plenty of wind still coming in from the north. But we're switching that all over and warming it up. We're hitting 63 for highs today. We're going to have winds start coming from the south. That's going to be slowly warming us up as well. So we'll see warmer temperatures throughout the day and getting at least above freezing. Slowly going to get those lows actually a little bit warmer as we go through the rest of this week. We are going to be seeing quite a bit of a warm up coming. That's because of high pressure that's going to be sitting off the coast for us. That's going to be on the surface, bringing in warmer temperatures Friday, upper 60s, 71 by Saturday, but then really watching Sunday and Monday. Plenty of warm air, all of it coming from the southwest, both in the upper atmosphere and at the surface. We'll hit 80 by Sunday, 80 also on Monday. Now we do have a bit of rain chances with that. That is another cold front that's coming through. It's a very weak cold front temperature-wise, but it is going to be bringing us overnight showers as we go through most of your Monday, and then some early showers and actually some storms potentially on Tuesday morning, looking around 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. Then that starts to clear out for the evening, and the cool-off really going to be only getting back into those upper 60s and 70s even behind that. So after yesterday having such a cold day, it is slowly going to be warming up. Then we have quite a bit of a warm start. 80s for your Monday for a cold front. Brings us some showers and some storms, but that will cool us back down to some low 70s next week.
Thanks, Jay. Now I've got a wonderful guest with me, Aaron Vinoy. He's a Planning and Development Services Assistant Director. Hello and welcome.
Well, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good. So you actually came prepared. You brought things to talk about, and they're really good things. So let's just get right into it. Let's look at these.
Yeah, last year we had a very strong development happening in our community. Our front development page just kind of talks about where in town development has been happening, and no surprise, the southwest and south part of town has been major areas, as well as even downtown.
Yeah.
But if you look at our map that we have online at the city website, it's showing development all over town. So some of that can be residential, some of that's commercial, some of that's manufacturing. And so those are great signs for our community. And our role over at Development Services and Planning and Building Inspection is to continue to help those places grow.
Yeah, definitely. So y'all are kind of the the go-tos, right? Everybody has to go to you before basically anything happens.
Well, yes, and we offer some things that we try to get folks in before they buy a piece of property or maybe break ground. We call them pre-development meetings. We have two versions. One's called a consultation, so it's maybe somebody that just has a concept that they want to do something. They're not really sure where or what. They can come talk to us about the concept and find out if that's going to work in our community, what some of the restrictions might be, what are solutions, and things like that. The other version is what we call a development review committee. It's somebody that already has plans and ready to move forward, whether that's plans for a new site, maybe it's an apartment building. They will come in, we'll talk about all the way from drainage and platting to urban design review, which talks about landscaping and connections to our trails here in San Angelo, which is very important, as well as roadways, water, sewer. How are they going to get all those services? You know, our fire department comes in of, all right, we've got a new apartment complex coming here. Do we have the capacity to support it? If so, what's going to happen? And all of those things are solutions based. We are trying to find solutions for whatever the issues are. We're not there to say, no, you can't do that. We're there to help that applicant find a solution so they can achieve their goals.
Wow. So there's so much that goes into all of that. Like you were just talking about, that's just kind of the basics.
Yes.
Is this a big team?
It is a big team. We bring representatives from our engineering department, our fire prevention department, planning, building inspections. At times we bring over environmental health, who does our restaurants in town. So, you know, maybe it's even something out at the lake where the city actually owns the property, but somebody's leasing it. So we bring in our city legal team to talk about what are the aspects of the lease that need to be modified. Maybe we have to bring in parks or operations or even our development corporation. If we have a big project, maybe there's some incentives that can help out, and even downtown San Angelo, maybe there's some opportunities there. So we look at the project, we try to determine what team members need to come into the room, and we bring them in there, and we want to make sure that the applicant here's what they have to say. Then our role is to follow up with that applicant. Do you have more questions? Did you understand what the steps were? And kind of stay with that project so they can be successful.
Okay, yeah, that's a great kind of segue into my next question, because this seems like it could be very overwhelming, this whole process. So what do you tell the applicants that who, you know, they want to bring something in, they have an idea, they want to get started, but they're so overwhelmed? What do you tell them?
They do feel very overwhelmed, and what we tell them is that we are a partner with them in their project. We don't want them to feel like they're all alone, they don't know where to go next. Development Services is there to be that partner with them. And a lot of people think, well, this is only for big projects, apartments, a new retail store or something like that. But this is even for somebody that wants to put a carport at their house, and they're just not sure, where are my property lines, what are the setbacks, what do I need a contractor, do I not need a contractor? We can answer those questions. We can get the right people in the room. We bring it down. It's not formal. We like to have a good time in there and make it interesting and understandable for the applicant, because if they don't understand what's going on, then we've really missed our target.
Yeah, exactly. So projects big and small, y'all are there for it all.
Yes.
I could be a slogan writer just now. I didn't even realize I did that. Wow. So I'm looking at this paper right here, and y'all have some really good ratings. Everybody says that you fixed the problem.
Yes, for the folks that do come in, they tell us, wow, we didn't know something, or this is exactly what we thought. Thanks for confirming what we thought. They're very thankful for that relationship, because then they finally get in front of maybe those staff members that they've never met. They may have heard some stories of this department or that department, but they actually get to find out, well, wow, they're real people. They're here to find the solution. Yes, they're here to find a solution, not to tell them, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have ordinances and codes that we do have to follow, but we find ways to find out what the applicant is doing, how do they meet our codes, what are ways that they can meet our codes, some creative ways, as well as connect the neighborhood around them. So maybe it's a new residential subdivision, and do those roads connect through so there's not going to be traffic jams in the future? Do we know, well, maybe in 20 years there might be an elementary school down there. How is that going to affect things? So we even try to project out into the future, these developments, how are they going to help San Angelo?
Yeah, definitely, because that's the goal I'm kind of getting from you. is you really want to find a solution and help people make it happen.
Yes.
Like you said,
do.
you're not there to tell them no.
Absolutely, because when we bring in, whether it's residential, commercial, maybe industrial, that helps all of our tax base. That goes back into the infrastructure and services that the city provides. So we have good police departments, we have good fire departments, we have good streets, and we are working on those things to keep those things maintained so that we're not spreading out real long and wide. So we have to provide service to big areas. We try to find those infill areas.
Yeah.
And so that's a big key that we're trying to focus on right now is infill. If we already have those services going by that blank lot or maybe that abandoned house or whatever, what can we do to get somebody to rehab that place or build there? Because the services are already going by. So why don't we work on filling those in?
Yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of where I was going with my next question is, what do you tell folks who say, oh, well, they're only focusing on, and they being, developers or, people bringing in new businesses or whatever, they're only focusing on like one side of town. They're only focusing on this part over here. So what do you tell people? Is that all part of it, the kind of rehabbing those abandoned places and reaching out to those
areas? It certainly is. In fact, we, through our neighborhood services department right now, have a housing infill program that will give someone that builds a single family house in certain neighborhoods basically a $5,000 incentive. So if they need help with the sewer line or something like that on a brand new residential house to get placed on a blank lot, there's a great infill. And what we try to tell, we have a great frontline staff that talks to people on the phone or comes into the office. They are looking for those opportunities. They are looking to find out, how can we help you? Our goal is to grow San Angelo, not just one area, but how do we grow all of San Angelo? How do we make all of our neighborhoods good neighborhoods, that they have the right services, that they've got nice pockets of retail and jobs and housing and all of those types of things, and connections to our parks and connections to the Concho River, which is one of our biggest assets. So that's really our goal.
Definitely. Yeah. So basically you need people to kind of step up and say, hey, I'm going to go to this area. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start this. So really it's on them to kind of make that first, hey, you know what? I'm going to step up and do this.
Yes. We want to encourage that. And that's why we get our development corporation involved, because if they see some opportunities and they can partner with that company and get them in that area that may not have that right now, that's beneficial to everybody. That helps raise the property taxes in those areas. That helps spread out the burden of property taxes, as opposed to just a few groups paying high property taxes. It helps spread it out. Now, obviously, all those things take time, but it is a work in progress, a labor that our community wants to continue to do. And so we're there to find solutions for them.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time, but you got to get started, right?
Yes, you have to get started.
You got to start somewhere.
Yes.
So, just a side note for my own personal, needs, I guess. What about a Dunkin' Donuts? Can we recruit somebody to build a Dunkin' Donuts here?
I would love to have more retail places like that. And I think that just takes the right developer out in our community that says that's the type of franchise that's going to do well in our community.
Yeah.
I do believe we do have some thoroughfares. You think about North and South Bryant, you think about Sherwood Way, you think about Sunset, and even on the Loop. There are some good opportunities there for places like that. So we're excited about our prospects.
Yeah. So anybody out there who wants to bring a Dunkin' Donuts here, I will probably single-handedly keep it alive. Their coffee's just so good. I'm a huge supporter of local businesses, of course, but man, their coffee's good.
Yes. I do like a donut.
Don't we all every now and again? Well, wonderful. Well, what else can you tell us? Is there anything else you want to mention? Because there's a lot here.
Well, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
This year, one of our exciting things that we're doing is we are transitioning to an online application system.
Oh.
So that even our local folks can apply for different types of building permits or projects online. And that will also help our outside communities. We have a lot of builders that come from the Metroplex in Houston and Austin to build big retail or big apartment complexes. They can apply online. And it's very transparent. They get to load their plans. They get to see the commenters' comments in real time. They get to see what's going on. They get to track the time it takes. And so that's going to be a great, exciting thing that we're going to offer to our community of we're trying to be more transparent. We're trying to do these things quickly for you. And so they can actually see that as opposed to, well, let me write out this application. Kind of goes into, well, I don't know what's happening until somebody calls me. This way they're able to look online and see the progress of that project immediately.
Yeah, and that's something else that I've noticed is the city right now, just within all departments, is really working on transparency and taking those comments, you know, from the citizens and trying to do something with them.
Absolutely. We want to always improve. And whether that's through our processes, through the actual individual application, or through our ordinances, we welcome those citizen comments. So we find out what our citizens want our community to be, because we're there working for those citizens to make it the best we can. And so that's why we're moving towards that transparency level of, all right, how can we get these things online so people can see what's going on? Yeah,
definitely. And I mean, there were surveys online. Speaking of online stuff, you can take surveys online. We recently had one for the parks. We talked about that. I had a guest on for that. And are there any others coming out?
There will be some over the next few months in some different areas. I know that our operations area, they worked on some CIP projects of trying to get community input for that. Every year the city is putting out information to say, we want your feedback. There's lots of opportunities in our areas to go to either a planning commission, going to the zoning board of adjustment, or going to the Design and Historic Review Commission. Those are all three commissions that work with our planning department that talk about land use, talk about how our downtown wants to be, talks about variations to our ordinances for zoning. So maybe it's a setback of, well, can they have their carport that close to the street, or can it be that close to their neighbor? Those are some great opportunities for citizens to come and listen. They can see them online, of course, but they can, best thing is come and listen and get your input heard, because then people know what's going on in our community.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there, like you said, I was going to mention that there's city council, there's all these boards that they can go to the meetings, and you know, the city does a great job streaming them online. You know, you can always watch them online, but like you said, it's important for people to go and be heard there. And when you give your input via voice in person, it makes an impact. It really does. It shows that person was invested and gave the effort to come and say, this is what's important to me as a citizen of San Angelo. And just I'm glad you brought that up, because just showing up to those meetings speaks for itself. You know, the effort behind it, and making that effort to go to the meeting and to be there and to listen and to then, you know, voice your, because the microphone can be a scary thing. It can be. But, you know, what better way to get yourself heard?
Get yourself involved. I know there's different parks boards and things like that. So if you're very interested in parks, and of course, Animal Services, I don't want to leave them out. They have a great program, and they have a community board that they talk about their program and what goes on. But yes, if there's lots of opportunities to get involved with the city, how to get involved with development in the city and what's going on around you. You know, we get calls all the time from people that, I see somebody's moving dirt over in this part of town. What's going on? And so
that's probably me.
And that's okay, because we want to let people know this is what's happening there. And that way it helps us learn, what do our citizens want.
What better way to show that, you know, what you want than get involved? So lots of boards, lots of all kinds of ways you can get involved. The surveys. So check out the city's website. And speaking of that, I always check out the permits section. Do you have any breaking news, anything new coming out that you can share with us?
We've had a lot of residential type properties that are coming for permit right now. We're going to have some large residential areas that are going to be popping up. So that's very exciting, because we did have a housing study that showed we were short in housing in certain areas. We do see we've seen a lot of renovations this year of existing places. If y'all been in any of the Walmarts, they've all gone through a renovation.
They rearranged everything.
Some of the even some of the restaurants have come in and done renovations and things like that. We do have some prospects that are looking at some new retail areas. They
Okay.
might be small national chains that'll be coming in, but there might be some others over this next year that'll be coming in. So there's always people looking at San Angelo of what can come here.
Yeah.
What can come here, and they look at the economic status. They look at the population. They look at traffic of where in town should this go.
Yeah.
So one of our biggest challenges is running out of new single-family residential lots.
Wow.
A lot of the home builders are looking to find where can we find new lots to build new houses in town or close to town.
Wow.
And so our local HBA association is working on that, trying to find ways, even working with our city council of how can we provide some incentives to help those single-family residence homes be built. So that's even exciting that partnership is taking place.
Yeah, definitely. So some people are kind of scared, but growth is good, right?
Growth is good. It does make people nervous at times because they don't know what the growth is going to be.
Yeah.
But that's always the opportunity to ask the question of, well, how's it going? Did they get a permit? There will be an opportunity later this year that you could even type in your own address on our online system, and it'll show a history of permits that building has obtained over the last probably 10 years.
That is amazing.
And
So
so
when is that going to launch? When is that coming out?
We think we're looking probably midsummer.
Okay.
We're probably looking at July the 1st. Yeah, we could do January. That's
Do either
midsummer.
one, you know. Hey.
But we're looking at July 1 that we have all that
Okay.
stuff ready and online, and we'll probably work with our public information office to get information out to let citizens know this is how you find it on our website, how you go and do those things.
Wonderful. Well, so much great information. Speaking of that, awesome info. Today, you'll have to come back and share
Yeah,
some more.
we'll be excited about that.
Perfect. So any final messages to the people?
Well, if you're thinking about doing something, whether that's your home or your resident, come see us, because we don't want you to invest a lot of money and
Yeah.
then have somebody from the city say, no, you can't do that. Let's talk about it before that. So always come and talk to us. We really are good people. We're there to help, and we just want you to come visit with us.
Yeah, great guy. Nice, easy to talk to. I can testify to that. Perfect. Well, Aaron, thanks again for coming on, and thank you all for joining us for CVHP News. Don't forget to follow us on social media and download our free app. All you got to do is search Concho Valley Homepage in your app store. That's all for right now, but hey, we're going to see you right back here tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.